Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jay if you're new here, and today we're doing another build tour. This is something that was highly requested of me on TikTok a little while ago, and it's the Queenslander. This style of build is not very common, or not at all common where I'm from. In my state we kind of have Federation style homes, which is red brick and tiled roofs. But the Queenslander style is very unique, with an elevated first floor, the second floor underneath, tin roof and siding. So it's very beautiful, and I know it's very common in the eastern states, obviously, the Queensland here in Australia. And I know it's also a common style of build in New Zealand, and I think that's because you guys get a lot of flooding and your terrain is quite elevated, so having a raised home is a pretty good idea. So from all the inspiration pictures I looked at, these buildings, or this style of build, was very much authentic on the exterior and almost similar to the Federation style home where it's renovated on the inside. So I've kind of done my best to emulate that as best as I could in The Sims. And of course, typically these homes are on very large properties with lots of grass and lots of greenery, but again, working within The Sims and the space that I have left in Newcrest, I kind of made do with what I had. I mean, they've got a nice little decent strip of grass here and a little bit of a front yard, so I tried to make it work. I'm going to give you guys a little rundown of the exterior before we jump inside. So at the back here, which is probably my favorite, we've got the wraparound veranda with the outdoor seating upstairs and downstairs. Up here you can see we've got a nice big dining space and a barbecue, and then a little, I guess, seated lounge area here, which would be great if you're overlooking the ocean. But of course we've got the golf course behind us here in Newcrest. And then downstairs we've got some sun lounges and another little seating area down here with a kitchenette. Now, I really wanted to fill in this space, and I was inspired by my old house, which had a kitchenette outside in our, I guess, back decking area. So we've got a TV, a bar fridge, and some music situation stereo thing going on there. And I thought this would be cool because I've put the two teenagers downstairs, so I thought it'd be a good space for them to hang out with their friends. So yeah, we've got like a little bit of an extended plunge pool down here as well, which I managed to squeeze in. It kind of makes the build come together quite nicely. So that's the exterior, very nice. And of course we've got some extra sun chairs here on the veranda. I mean, you've got to utilize this space, right? It's so beautiful. And then at the front here, we've got the beautiful big stairway up to the main entrance here and front door. Also got like a small carport and then a gate down here to get into the side of the house downstairs. So this is the exterior, very light and fresh, very beautiful. And then inside, this is the top floor. So a lot of the inspiration pictures for this style of home were very light and fresh and very open plan. So I've kind of drawn on a little bit of that for inspiration and taken into consideration like the pops of color that I saw, like lots of blues and greens, but I kind of put my own twist on it and made it a little bit more earthy toned, a little bit more rustic. I thought this family would be a little bit more hippie, beachy kind of vibe, I guess. So as you can see, I've got some beautiful like wicker furniture pieces and, you know, antique wooden stuff here with some funky artwork. I thought that tied together really nicely. So this is the main lounge as you come in through the front door, and then through the hallway here, which connects the kitchen to the lounge here. We've got the main or master bedroom, which would be the parents' room. Very cozy. And then this is my favorite piece here, which is this washed blue dresser. Of course, they had some room for like a walk-in dresser, but I kind of wanted to use some more like individual pieces to fill the space. So I really like this. And then some draping curtains and some wall art and a nice big mirror. So yeah, this is the parents' room, and then we've got the bathroom, again working with the greens and blues. I've got some funky tiles, so the space would have been renovated for sure. Shower tub combo, just your standard bathroom really, double sinks, nothing too crazy. And then in the hallway as well, I've done what I have in my house actually, which is like a indoor staircase, because originally I just had the stairs outside and I thought that wasn't very realistic to get up and down just from the outside. So I chucked in an indoor staircase here, which wraps around downstairs. So I thought that was quite nice. And then, yeah, we've got the hallway here, which connects to the kitchen, as I was saying before, but you know, very typical, freshly renovated kitchen, white cabinets, crisp white granite top, and of course the splashback. And I really like the splashback because it wraps around the corner here, so it looks really cool. Typical kitchen, nothing more to say about it really. And then I managed in here to squeeze in an extra dining table, which I guess you could say is like a breakfast nook, right? So if the weather doesn't allow for you to sit out here, you can obviously sit inside. And a lot of the inspiration pictures I saw for the interior didn't have any curtains at all. No curtains, no blinds, maybe shutters, but I really want to make some shutters. So if I ever revisit this build, I'll definitely put them in. But I wanted to keep the space nice and open as it was in the inspiration pictures. So from the kitchen, we come outside to here again. And now my idea for this was on a nice summer's day, Mum cooks a meal and everyone comes and sits and has dinner outside. So I was inspired to do this because of a house down the road from me actually that me and Mum walk by nearly every night, where they have their outdoor kitchen and it's just pumping in summer. Like they're always out there having dinner and you can smell it when you're at the park. It's just so cool. So I thought that, you know, what better way to use this space than to have a second dining room out here. So yeah, got the barbecue and the extra space, which filled out really nicely. So yeah, love it. That's the top floor. We're gonna move into the bottom floor now. I'll give you a little rundown. Down in here, we've got the second entrance over here. I was looking at this, I was like, how do I describe it? We've got some greenery, some potted plants, but yeah, you come in through the gate down here to the side entrance, and we've got an extra little toilet down here. Probably didn't need it, but you know, it works. Not much to sort of say for this space. It's really just an entryway, I guess. Again, no curtains. And then we come into this really wide hallway. I kind of did this on purpose because I wanted to fit the sliding doors in without it being too cramped. I mean, the rooms could have done with a little bit of extra room, but I wanted it to work for the double doors. So that's why the hallway is very wide. Anyway, we've got this second lounge over here for the teenagers, which I'm assuming at one point would have been like a sunroom. So now they've turned it into like a second lounge because, you know, who wants to watch TV with your parents all the time, right? And then we've got some hobby stuff, you know, record stack and player and guitar and whatnot. Just a nice little chill out space for friends and, you know, whatever, watching a movie. And then we've got the two kids' bedrooms. We've got the teenage daughter's room, which I kind of was inspired by that, you know, 2010s Tumblr sort of vibe with the boho, you know, turquoise screens and whatnot. So iconic IKEA dresser. Very fresh. Her room's very fresh. You can definitely see what her personality is like in her room for sure. And then this is her brother's room. Very boyish, very typical. He's a bit sporty, I guess. Maybe these kids like going to the beach, you know, they like surfing and, you know, swimming and hanging out with their friends and stuff. So, I mean, for the rooms being as small as they are, they still feel pretty open. So yeah, very nice. And then moving over to the hallway, or over the hallway here, we've got their bathroom. Again, same theme, same pattern as upstairs, the greens. Very nice, very nice. And then over here, this is the laundry, which I'm gonna assume at one point was like a, I guess like an outside laundry that they've renovated, put in some fresh subway tiles and, you know, jazzed it up a little bit. But it's just your typical laundry, and then we've got the washing line over at the back here. So yeah, this is the bottom floor layout. Works well, looks good. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That is the finished tour of the Queenslander home. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and of course this build will be up for download on my Patreon, so be sure to go and check out the link in my description down below. But yeah, I'm gonna love you and leave you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you guys soon.